What do you all mean by the word interceptor? Intercept. What do you mean by this word intercept? इंटरसेप्ट का ऐसा है, फुटबॉल, जो लोग फुटबॉल देखते हैं या खेलते हैं, they'll understand better when I say interceptor. So this is our half and this is our opponent's half. So let's say we are blue team. Okay, we are blue team. So before the match starts, all the blue team players will be here, and there is a yellow team. They are players over here. Now, what is the target of the blue team? And this is the football. This is the football. What is the target of the blue team? The blue team players will run with the ball and try to score a goal by hitting the goal inside this pole. Yes. Okay, all good. So the blue player's target will be to take the ball and try to score a goal by hitting the ball inside this goal post. Yes or no? So if a blue player is running with the ball, what is the job of the yellow players then? Will they stand like this and then they'll wait for him to score the goal? Or what will they do? They'll try to snatch the ball from them. So if this blue player was going in a straight line towards the goal and a yellow player comes and he will intercept, what he will do? He will intercept the blue player and he will take the ball and run away. So what has the yellow player done? Intercept. That is called as what? Intercept. Means a person was traveling in a particular lane, he got intercepted and the flow went towards another direction. That is called as what? You all search the dictionary meaning of intercept and let me know. Okay. So this yellow person was the interceptor. Correct? To catch somebody who is going from place A to place B. Catch him in between. That is called as intercept. So same way इंटरसेप्टर का लॉजिक है सर्वलेट में. ठीक है. ओके. उसका एक और चीज है, आपने चाय बनाई, ये पैन है जिसमें चाय है और ये आपका कप है जिसमें आप चाय पिएंगे. तो डायरेक्ट पाथ क्या है? फ्रॉम द पैन टू द कप, राइट? इज देयर एनी इंटरसेप्टर इन बिटवीन? क्या है वो? हाँ, स्टेनर ना, फिल्टर. तो आप क्या करोगे फिर? उसको डालोगे एक स्टेनर में ना, जिसमें जाली होगी. प्लीज एक्सक्यूज माय स्ट्रेनर. So you will pour this tea. Will you directly pour it in the cup? और while pouring in the cup who will intercept it? फर्स्ट किसको टच होगा? वो कप को क्या स्टेरर को या फिल्टर को? तो वैसा ही एक लॉजिक है। हाँ, सो ये अपना फ्रंट एंड है और ये हमारा सर्वलेट है। तो डायरेक्ट फ्रंट एंड से एक्शन से कहाँ जाता है वो? सर्वलेट को। बीच में इंटरसेप्टर आ जाएगा, उसको बोलते हैं फिल्टर। क्या बोलते हैं उसको? तो फिल्टर क्या है? एक इंटरसेप्टर है जो फ्रंट एंड की रिक्वेस्ट डायरेक्ट जा रही थी सर्वलेट को, बीच में उसको इंटरसेप्ट कर लेगा और फिर उसको देखेगा और फिर उसको आगे फॉरवर्ड करेगा। ठीक है, तो लेट्स टेक वन मोर एग्जांपल। जो सिक्योरिटी गार्ड होते हैं ना, मॉल के सिक्योरिटी गार्ड, तो ये कस्टमर है और ये डी मार्ट है। डी मार्ट गए आप लोग, तो उधर डायरेक्टली अलाउ करते हैं हैंडबैग लेके, तो बीच में कोई इंटरसेप्ट करता है आपको? कौन करता है आपको इंटरसेप्ट बीच में? सिक्योरिटी गार्ड इंटरसेप्ट करता है। या एयरपोर्ट गए हो आप समझो, तो ये कस्टमर है और ये सिक्योरिटी। नाउ कैन द कस्टमर गो डायरेक्टली टू द शॉप? एट टाइम्स देर इज नो इंटरसेप्टर। जैसे अपने इंस्टीट्यूट में कोई इंटरसेप्टर है आप लोग को? कोई आपको फिक्स करता है, चेक करता है कि क्या कैरी कर रहे हैं आप लोग? कोई नहीं। तो हम लोग ने अब तक जो कोडिंग किया है उसमें कोई इंटरसेप्टर रखा है हमने? आज से करेंगे इंटरसेप्टर को। तो रिक्वेस्ट जो है, ये कस्टमर समझ लो कि ये हमारा HTML पेज है और ये डी मार्ट हमारा सर्वलेट है। So I was accepting two numbers, enter number 1, enter number 2. Then I was hitting submit. Where was submit going to? Submit was going to the action, right? तो action में लिखा था 1. What will it search for? In the servlet mapping, it will check for a URL pattern. By what name? 1. Correct? And then it will map it to a servlet name. Yes or no?
Yes.
Let's say whatever name you want to map it to. And then what will happen? This is servlet mapping. This is servlet mapping. And the next what happens? There's one more pair called as servlet. Correct? And servlet name now gets mapped to a servlet class. We are going to add two numbers, add servlet. This is the flow. So when I click on submit, it goes to action 1. Action 1 maps it to this servlet name Virat. Servlet name Virat mapped to servlet class, add servlet. So this request directly goes to add servlet. Now we'll put a filter in between. Now what will we put? A interceptor. And now to check whether these are valid numbers, valid positive numbers, I would do the validation where? In the add servlet, you only have to add positive numbers. That is the task. If the number is negative, don't add. So once I read the numbers in add servlet, I have to do the validation. Now what I will do is I will add a filter in between. The request will first come to the filter. The filter will read the numbers and will do the validation that both the numbers are greater than 0. If it satisfies the validation, then only it will route to the actual servlet. If it fails the validation, the filter has the authority to return the request back. Directly redirect to which index.html. Directly read out to saying invalid numbers. So customer come to security guard, everything is good. Security guard will say to customer, please go and shop. If the security guard feels that a customer is carrying something which is not appropriate, what will he do? Send him back, go back. So request will now, the request which was coming, which was going to which action? 1 will now be intercepted, by the filter. And the filter will do what job? Validation job. If both the numbers are valid, it will forward the request to the servlet. If the numbers are not valid, it will return the response directly from the filter. It will not bother the servlet. So the validation job now has been given to the filter, and the servlet is only focusing on the business logic. Is only focusing on the business logic. And we have outsourced. Okay, so there are few families who do not do their laundry. They'll outsource their laundry to the washerman. Right? There are few families which don't own a private car. So whatever, whenever they want to travel, they'll outsource that traveling to Ola or Uber. Ola, Uber does the management of the car for them. They don't own a car. So that is called as outsourcing. That is called as outsourcing. So earlier, validation also was done by the servlet, and the business logic means addition logic also done by the servlet. Now the servlet says, my job is to only apply the business logic. For the validation part, I will outsource it to a filter. The filter will give me validated numbers and I will only add them, because my job is to only add. If the numbers are invalid, the filter will reject the request. Okay, are you all getting the concept? Okay, now how the filter works, very interesting. Similar to a servlet, we have a filter, just same to same like a servlet. Okay, so if I can get hold of any servlet for you guys, this was yesterday's code. So first let me try to demonstrate. So src mail web app. Okay, so now I am making a file. I want to add two numbers, but the two numbers should be positive. So I go to new and I make a HTML file called add.html. What is the file name? What will this do? So we've done this before, right? We've done this before. Where did we do it? Okay, let's take this. Okay. So let's come to add.html and I'll say what? Enter. Yes, guys. Number 1, text is T2. Enter number 2, text is T2. So far, so good. And what should be the caption of the button? Are we logging or are we adding? Add. When I click on add, it goes to which action? Login. But we already have an action by that name. So let's change the action name. Let's give the action name of the first candidate which I see on the screen. First candidate which I see is what, Shivanjali. Okay, so let's give Shiva. ठीक है, पूरा पूरा दे देंगे. ठीक है, तो ये एक्शन हो गया. Now what should I do now? What should I do to meet this action? I should go to the, yes guys, web XML. Where will I get that? Web INF, and I need a pair of servlet mapping. I copy and paste that. Then I go back to my add HTML. I would better copy paste it rather than typing it all out. So we go over here, and what is the, okay, Shivanjali, and let's say full stack developer, and then full stack developer goes to which servlet? Add servlet. Is this servlet there? Is this servlet there? No, not there. So what to do? Create it. Or default package, right click, new class, right? Yes, servlet. And don't know why my servlet. I'll name it the class as add servlet and finish. We'll come here, and what is the method we've given? Post. So the method is post, then the two lines which we copy for all the classes, or better we can take this all, these two also. So where do I write this code? Do post or do get? Even do, because do post is eventually calling do get. If I comment this out now is do post calling do get, then I have to write the code in the do post, because the method is post. So what are we doing over here? Okay, so let's not follow this. Let's keep the tradition going. Do get, and we'll come over here and paste the code. And these two are numbers. Integer dot parse int, right? Request dot get parameter here, and store it in a integer n1, correct? Integer n2, and then the validation also has to be done by the servlet itself. So if n1 is greater than 0 and n2 is greater than 0, then do what? Result equals to n1 plus n2, and out dot print the result, correct? And if the validation fails, we'll have to redirect it back to so what will we do? We'll take this code which we've done previously. So I'm just reusing the code. Okay, I'll say invalid numbers. Please enter positive values only. And I request and send it back to where? Add.html. Make sense? Correct? So now this servlet is doing two tasks, applying the business logic and also doing the validation. So servlet should only do the task which it is made for, only the business logic part. And this extra job, give it to the filter. So before coming to this servlet, the validation should be done. It is not my job to do the validation. Making sense? So let's check this out, and first let's run this and see if it's working. So which is the startup file. Have I cleared all my console? Okay, I should clear the entire console and before you start to run the application. So I directly run from add.html, okay? And I've done a save all. So run on server. So let's check it out how this works. Okay, I enter -9 and 7. Okay, this is what password? We did not spot that. If I do a save, did it refresh? Did it refresh? 951. Did it refresh? So I enter -9 and 7. And I do a add. What happens? It says invalid numbers, please enter positive values only. So validation is done by the servlet and the business logic also done by the servlet, both. Yes or no? So now what we'll do, we'll segregate the two of them. So what happens is, now to apply the filter, the concept is very same. Okay. Now, if I need to explain that, so now today's person's new joinee and he is coming and he has a receipt, okay, and he is told to go in classroom number 1. Classroom number, which classroom? He is carrying a small receipt with him, classroom number 1. Now this person is intercepted by a security guard, and this is classroom number 1. This is what? Where does he wants to go? Which classroom? Number 1. Intercepted by a security guard. Okay. He sees he's a valid student. He's paid his fees, everything. If he has not paid his fees, security guard will send him back. If he has paid his fees, security guard will say, okay, you can go where you want to go. Where does he want to go? Will the security guard tell him where to go? He will only say, or where did you plan to go? You go there. So if he had planned to go to classroom number 2, if he had planned to go to classroom number 2, where will he go? After the security check, where will this person go? Will the security guard tell him where to go? He knows where to go, right? Same that logic will apply over here now in filter. Concept is very simple. So as we have a servlet mapping, same to same, we will have a filter mapping. Same to same. Just replace all the servlet by filter. Wherever you have servlet, replace it by filter. Filter name, filter class, filter name, filter class. No need to by heart anything. No need to by heart anything. Filter mapping, filter name, servlet, okay, right? And URL pattern is the same. And paste. Wherever you have servlet, just replace it by filter. Now that request, when I click on add, was going where? To Shivanjali. So it will first be intercepted by the Shivanjali filter. Okay. And let's say she gives it a name as FSD filter. FSD filter will take it to the add validation filter. This is my own name I'm giving. So the request which was coming for Shivanjali, if the filter was not there, would go where? Directly over here, route to FSD, FSD will route to add servlet. Now we have an interceptor. So that request which was coming for this Shivanjali will be intercepted by this Shivanjali filter first, and intercept this will take it to FSD filter, and FSD filter will go to where? Okay, let's say validation filter. I'll just give what? Validation number, validate number filter, validate numbers filter. Now is this filter there? Not there. Go and create it, right click. Now tell me what to do. New what? Servlet. No servlet. Check over here, observe. Filter. Now come over here, did you all observe? Default package, right click, new, and new filter. Now you come and make the class name as what? Now I have got a filter. Where is that? Validate number. Now this function has a do filter method. Which function? Do filter method. And this chain dot do filter means, okay, now you can go where you are going. Chain, when you go at the toll on the expressway, so he will put down the barrier. Okay, and once you pay the toll, he will lift the barrier. After lifting, will he tell you, okay, now you go to Pune? He knows, he will just say, now you can go where you are supposed to go. So similarly, this is do filter means lift the barrier. Do filter means now you can go where you were supposed to go. So where was this addition Shivanjali supposed to go? It was supposed to go to this pattern. So after, but when will I lift the barrier? When I have paid the toll, right? So now whatever code is over here, I'll copy over here for some reason. Okay, I'll just copy this and here. Which place? Do filter. Okay. If everything is good, I will say request and response can go where they were supposed to go. Everything is validated, no? Then you can go. If it is not validated, I will say please enter positive number and route it back to add.html. Okay, so the filter is intercepting my request, checking for the validation. If everything is validated, it will lift the barricade. So chain.do filter means you will continue going on your merry path. So where will it go to? Where it was actually intended to go. So where was Shivanjali actually intended to go? When there was no filter, it was supposed to go over here to this URL pattern, which would send it to FSD. FSD would send it to where? Add servlet. So when I say chain.do filter, it will go to where? Add servlet with the request and response. With this request and response, it will go there. And if it doesn't fulfill my request, the filter will only return the response that numbers are not positive. So now what is the job of this add servlet now? Becomes very easy. It has got the numbers. Now it will not do any validation because it knows the numbers are positive. It will not do anything else. It will only apply the business logic. Am I understood? Is that making sense to you all? Is the flow understood of how a filter works? So now this servlet will only focus on its business logic. So these extra things are distributed to the filters. Okay, this is called as cross-cutting concerns. It's called as what? cross-cutting concerns. Okay, so if I have a cricket player, so if I have Virat Kohli, what is his job? I expect him to bat well. That is the only role. I expect him to play well. Okay, if I want to put the stumps on the wicket, will I ask Virat Kohli to do that? We have to fix these stumps on the pitch. Today is a match. Will Virat Kohli do this for me? The groundsman will do that for me. Okay, then I have to show this match live on Hotstar. I want cameraman. So will Virat Kohli hold the camera and record? That is not his job. His job is to play well and score a century for the team. That's it. These extra jobs, there are other people to take care of. So these are all cross-cutting concerns. So the servlet will focus primarily on its business logic for which it is made. What is the name? What is servlet name? It will focus only on its business logic. All the extra cross-cutting concerns are given to the filters to manage. So now let's try to understand the entire end-to-end path now. When I click on submit, you go to action, Shivanjali. So if there is a filter by the same name, the request will be intercepted by that filter first. So this servlet this filter will be given priority. The request will come here, will be sent to FSD filter. FSD filter will send it to where? Will go, request will now come over here. We'll read the two numbers, we'll check if they are greater than 0. Well and good. Change.do filter means now you can pass on. So where were you supposed to go? So he says I was supposed to go to this Shivanjali. Okay, you go there and route to FSD and go to where? Add servlet. And as the numbers are already validated, I will just add them and I will just display them. We haven't displayed that. Okay. And if the validation fails, then this filter only will return the response saying please enter valid number and send it back to add.html. Let's check how this works. Okay, for our purpose, we can add some logging. Okay, so let's add over here on the console I'm displaying. Where am I displaying this? Where am I displaying this? Request received by servlet. Okay, so when will I get this message? When the validation has been successful. Okay, and let's check over here. On the console, I'll say request received by the filter. So all good. I'll stop my current server and now I'll trigger add. Run on server. I'll keep the console over here. Okay. I'll keep the console open for you guys. Okay, let's keep the console open and let's check. -8 and 3. Now add invalid numbers. Please enter. Did it say anything? Only it says request received by filter. Did it go to the servlet? Why no? Because the filter only has rejected it. Correct? Now let's take next time. 8 and 5. Now what will be the output over here on the console? Request received by filter and request received by servlet both, right? And you'll get the answer. You get the answer over here and you see request received by filter and this request received by Please excuse my spelling of receive. Is this making sense? Is the order how the program is flowing? Is it making sense to you all? Okay. So these filters are added for cross-cutting concerns. Mostly they are done for validation, for your security, for logging, all those tasks which are apart from the business logic, critical tasks are done by the filters. Okay. Now we had done over here login. Login was routing to which endpoint? Login. So, and login was then routing to login and login servlet over here. And here I was reading the numbers. Okay. And I was just applying the business logic. But what if he entered a password which was less than 6 characters? I want the password should be more than or equal to 6 characters. Password should not be less than 6 characters. And username should be more than 3 characters. Now that is validation. So who will do that? Filter. So what I'll do now, from the login.html, request is going to login. So what I'll do, I'll take this login servlet login. Yes, the request which is originally coming over here will now route it to, okay, login filter. Now I have to change everything, right? I have to change wherever there is servlet, replace it with filter. Wherever there is servlet, replace it with filter. Just as simple as that. Wherever there is servlet, replace it with filter. Okay, so now the request which was going to this login will be intercepted over here, and I'll say login. So I'll say validate login filter. Okay, I'll just say validate login first, and then I'll copy this, paste over here, and I'll route it to where? Route it to where? Yes, guys, route it to validate login filter. We'll come here and we'll create new filter. By what class name? Got it? And now what will this do? Go in the do filter method, and whatever login.servlet was doing over here, I'll just copy this code. Again, I'll remove whatever is unwanted. So I come over here to the login, validate login filter. I go to do filter. Now here I don't want to read any context. Okay. No need to read any context. So I'll say if my username dot length, username should be more than 3, is greater than or equal to 3, and password should be more than 6 characters, right? Password dot length is greater than or equal to 6. Then what to do? Then what to do? Route it back. And if it doesn't fill the request, I will say bad credential. Okay. Please. Okay. So I'll put that over here. Username should be greater should be 3 or more characters. I just prompt him. And password should be 6 or more characters. And we will route it back to login, correct? And if everything is good, it will go to where? Where will it go to? Where the login was supposed to go. Where? Login servlet. And here, okay, if you want to read the context, if you want to display all that, your wish. Okay. And then it will check if the username and password are equal. This you can do from the database if you want to. And this login successful, route it to Shivam. Else you can route it that your password is not matching. What is this telling? So you can say, oh yeah, username, password do not match. Do not match from our database. Okay, so this is my business logic. And this is my validation that all my users should have username more than 3 and password should be 6 or more. Okay, so greater than or equal to, greater than or equal. Okay, so before the login, this will be validated. Once everything is good, it will send, else it will send the response from here only. Making sense? Let's try to check this out. I save this. Has it restarted? Hasn't restarted yet? Should have restarted by now. Yeah, has restarted. Okay, has completed. So now let's go and start which one? Login. So we'll have to hit login then, otherwise. We'll have to hit login. We'll have to go and hit which one? Login dot html. ये इशू ही है. स्टॉप करके रीस्टार्ट कर दो. कंसोल को क्लियर कर दो. Let's start with login. Okay. Yeah, you're able to see my screen, right? Yes or no? Okay, so now if I enter A, B, and A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, valid? Yes, no, maybe. Not valid. Login. It says username should be 3 or more characters, password should be 6 or more characters. Okay, A, B, C, D, A, B, C. Now, valid. So, the input I am validating over here. I have not sent this to the database yet. Again, it fails. Now, let's say A, B, C. Okay. Now, if I say Virat Kohli, and now Virat Kohli. Now, login, and then it goes and routes me to that page. Getting the job of the filter, guys? Understood clearly how it works?